The Department of Education in Gauteng has confirmed that over 1,000 learners in grade 1 and 8 remain without schools a day before reopening. The province's Education MEC, Chiloane, has promised that will be fixed come tomorrow and children will be in class. Mnisi was following that briefing and he joins us now to give us a sense of what seems to be the delay. Linda, good afternoon.
Well, do you remember that there are different categories when it comes to the online applications, and at this point what the department is telling us is that they've managed to place over 290,000 learners in schools from those online applications that they received from last year, July, when this particular online application opened. So at this very moment they're sitting at over 1,300 unplaced learners, and those come, of course, from those who, submitted all the required documentation. And I'm joined now by the Gauteng Department of Education MEC, Chiloane. Thank you so much for your time, MEC. I want us to first labor on this conversation around the parents who submit all the documents versus the ones that don't submit the documents. How does that then affect the figure of learners that are yet to be placed?
Thank you. Good morning to you and good morning to your viewers. Thanks again. With regard to it's categories. What we've done, we've categorized it in that way: complete and incomplete. The complete was sitting at 292,000 or so. Incomplete was sitting at about 40,000. So with complete applications, we are left with 1,000, and that 1,000 are from high pressure areas, and incomplete we are left with about 8,000. Why they are less? Because those were applications there were spaces in those areas that those parents had applied, and those are incomplete applications are those who could not provide all the documents. All right, so we were able to place more than 80% of them in those areas. So there are that number, and some of that number that is left, it means it's a number that is most probably is linked with the high pressure areas. So in the high pressure areas, for now, we're focusing on complete applications. Like where we are now, we're sitting with 501 as of yesterday. I know today it will be less because we're placing learners every day. So we're looking to reduce the number before, in no time, will be done.
And the HOD, they're telling us that your target is end of January, in fact, to place those learners. But there are also issues around those appeals, right? You're talking about 4,000 parents, over 4,000 parents that are appealing the schools that the department has given them. What would make the department uphold an appeal for those particular parents?
There are a number of factors. Every appeal, we look at it objectively. And with some appeals, if they link the administrative error on our part, we uphold the appeal and also look at factors. What are you saying to us? There's a parent who said, I'm unemployed. You've taken my child to a school kilometers away. I don't know how I'm going to get the child there. There's no scholar transport. That is a different appeal. We listen to that, and then we make a determination that if the situation in this appeal requires us to review the decision we've made. So we are looking at multiple factors that how we upheld an appeal. So we've upheld over 200 of them because the factors that they were putting in place by the parents were sustainable and reasonable, and we were able to agree objectively that this others is just preference, and we know and we understand that it's important to want what you think is the best school. But what we can assure parents is that Gauteng schools are the best. Our results will tell. You'll see that our results in our schools, our results have been above 80% pass rate for matriculants. So meaning that we are producing, So they are producing good schools. And some schools that their parents are doubting in townships, for instance. One of our best schools, the best schools in Gauteng, is a school in Diepsloot in a township. That is the best performing, producing high bachelor pass rate, high mathematics pass rate. So parents must trust the department and the schools in our province.
We know that districts will be inundated with parents that are not happy, of course, with the placement, and some that are coming at the very last minute. There are parents who will be coming now, tomorrow, to start with the registration process. What happens to those?
Those parents, they're left to take the space we offer them. one of the things that you forfeit when you apply late, you forfeit the right to a school that you want. You come to us, we tell us you want a school, we'll tell you this is the space, the school, the space available. A parent will decide to take it or not. That's the condition, unfortunately, for late applications. Those ones who could appeal, and they can't appeal. Late applications can appeal. Those who can appeal are those who applied on time and they might not have received the schools they want.
Tomorrow is the first day of school. Talk to us about the state of readiness. What can we expect? I know during your briefing you spoke about disruptions. Have you identified hotspots where maybe you'll be looking closely into in terms of those disruptions?
We know that there are civic organizations that are sending. We saw their posters, and some have gone to our districts, and some have gone to certain schools, including political parties are disrupting, schools, the registration, etc. So we are calling on them to stop. On our side, as a province, as a department, we are ready for tomorrow. We are opening up a new school tomorrow in Tshwane, in Garankuwa, Mapenani, together with the Premier, and also we are appealing to those organizations that will be going to school. We know that, back to school campaign, there are many organizations that are running it across the province. They need to do one thing: don't disrupt learning and teaching. Don't come there and stop parents or learners. The only thing we want is that 8 o'clock, learning and teaching must resume. Children must be seated, and educators must be in front of them. That's what we're appealing for tomorrow. But we're ready.
All right, Madume Chiloane, thank you so much for your time. That is the MEC for Education here in Gauteng, talking to us about some very important aspects when it comes to that online application and the placement thereof, talking to us and telling us that, in fact, for the parents that have come late, unfortunately, they don't get to choose. They forfeit their right to choose which school they want. And on top of that, they cannot appeal. So at this point, with the parents that applied on time and have submitted all the documentation, they're working around a figure of 1,300. Over 290,000 learners have been placed so far, and they're appealing to members of the public and all the other civic organizations that they shouldn't be disrupting schools. It's all systems go for tomorrow. And that they are quite ready for the academic year.
Linda Mnisi, thank you very much for that update.